Robschild, no investment advice. Welcome to the show where we view financial markets through crystal ball gazing. Today is Thursday, September 5th, 2024. Today's episode, I just want to say right from the beginning of the video, crystal ball rating, market crash imminent, as in tomorrow, as in Friday, as in when this unemployment report comes out. A lot worse than people are expecting. I personally have calls on UVXY and puts that expire tomorrow on SPY, specifically 540 puts. Will they print? Yes, they will. CNBC headline today, August private payrolls rose by 99,000, the smallest gain since 2021 and far below estimates, ADP says. And from the article, companies hired just 99,000 workers last month, less than the downwardly revised 111,000 in July, and below the consensus forecast for 140,000, according to payrolls processing firm ADP. Tomorrow's big report on Friday, the employment report, is not just the unemployment rate, but that's the big number that I'm personally looking for. The unemployment rate, the last reading of this was 4.3%. The SOM rule was triggered. The market is currently expecting a 4.2% reading of the unemployment rate for tomorrow. I'm expecting it to be higher. When the SOM rule is triggered, unemployment tends to soar faster and higher than people expect, and that is what I'm expecting, and I'm betting on it. Granted, if I'm not right about this, I'm not blowing up my account here. I didn't put all of my money into some puts that expire tomorrow on SPY or anything, but enough to get a handsome reward if I happen to be right, and if I lose this, it won't hurt my account hardly at all. I'm talking less than 1% of my portfolio in this. But with that, I may increase my entire portfolio size by like 50% if it turns out that I'm right here. But we'll see how that plays out. Also, tomorrow evening, I'm not going to be making a show in the evening. I don't think. I'll be making it on Saturday. So don't look out for it Friday. It'll probably come out Saturday. Again, obligated daily reminders, 2-year, 10-year Treasury yield curve was inverted for over 2 years, and over the past few trading days it's been about zero, and typically when it uninverts is when you see the recession begin, as history shows. Pretty much every time we go for an inversion, and the worse the inversion is, once we come out of it, the worse the recession is. So I'm actually expecting a depression here, not just a recession, but it's just me and my crystal ball. Again, to repeat, SOM rule triggered, recession has started, crystal ball rating, market crash imminent. I expect this to happen tomorrow. I think this is it. I think tomorrow is when things will really fall apart. And I also think the Fed will not cut fast enough to save the economy. After all, the Fed learned from this previous cycle that they can make inflation happen. So much so that the inflation is starting to hurt. And now, I think it's more likely that we'll be on the other side of that. Adding to all of that, the amount of fiscal dominance, in other words, the amount of debt that the United States has, makes it a limited effect when the Fed is raising rates. And now when we're cutting, the effect will also be muted. So not only will they not be cutting fast enough, but the cuts won't even be having as much of an effect as they expect them to. And so I highly, strongly believe and see very clearly in my crystal ball that there is a storm coming, a very big storm, and I think it starts tomorrow. Head and shoulders top on the S&P 500 still in play. I expect a very large red candle tomorrow to continue this pattern, and I expect it to continue going downward into the near future. If you've been following the show, you know I'm about 55% exposed to basically TLT, basically leveraged forms of TLT, a little bit longer duration, so ZROZ and TMF and calls on these funds, call options. I said yesterday bonds were looking very strong, and we continued higher today. If things do play out as I expect them tomorrow, I should be able to be selling the options contracts that I bought, hopefully at a very large return. And it will be likely at that point, I think I will be putting the rest of my cash into basically, it'll either be 0Z or TMF, a leveraged version of TLT. While this storm is happening, I think treasury bonds and leveraged forms of treasury bonds are the best possible place to be right now. I really don't have anything else to talk about. I believe tomorrow will be a huge day in markets. And that's all from me and my crystal ball. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and see you Saturday. Robschild.